click record too here. Can you click record? Oh, you are. Oh, there you go.
There you go. We should be live on Facebook. I hope it's working now. Well, yes, we are live. I can see it. So I'm happy to have you, Annie, on this interview because I want to know more about you and your part of our book, Creating the Life of Possibilities Against All Odds. And I think everybody wants to know more about you, as they want to know more about every single person, but this is the first interview. So Annie, just tell us a little bit about you first. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I just actually made it a watch party, so I have no idea if it's happening on my Facebook, but anyway, see how we go. So hi, thank you so much for inviting me, and my name is Annie Kallis, and I'm a relationship architect. So a lot of people say, so what is a relationship architect? So I'm a relationship coach, but what I do is I help people build, design, and build the relationships that they want. Okay, so I help them deal with the pains and the resentment and the fears of their relationship, which are breaking down. And then I help them connect to themselves and discover their own brilliance and their own freedoms. And then they can bring romance and passion back into their life and then design the delicious relationship that they want.
Oh, so that's what I do. So that sounds so wonderful.
Thank you.
So the first question I have is how did you came to that book, and on the other hand, how was it writing your chapter? So the two questions actually.
Thank you. Well, I know Michaela Wild from the Blessinger Training Academy, so that's where we are certified by. So we are kind of, call it colleagues, community members, tribe members, whatever you want to call it. So she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and wrote a book. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and I had the same experience she did. We both worked in the orphanages, so doing community work was really great. Did you climb the mountain?
No, not yet.
Not yet. So working in the orphanage was really good. Now, whilst most of the people were playing with the kids, I was actually hanging out with the teachers, with the female teachers, because I had a lingerie business before, and I took over 50 bras and I fitted all the women that were there. And you know, the funny thing is that I didn't know their sizes. I just picked 50 bras from my kit, from the kit that I had, and every single one of them fitted the women. It was absolutely uncanny. It was amazing. So then when Michaela said that I'd like to write a book, you know, like we've all, you know, when you hang around with like-minded people, and we've all done some courses with Blessing, and that's kind of how we all know each other. And so you talk about your life, and I think she had a great idea to get a couple of women from around the world to share their story of triumph despite all the adversity. And that's what we teach as coaches. You know, we help people overcome their difficulties, their challenges, and connect to themselves and see and arm them with lots of tools to go and live the life that they want, right? So that was first. And she said, and it would be really great, all the proceeds of the book to go to a charity that supports, you know, women and children and supports people in underdeveloped countries. So it wasn't rocket science to say, okay, yes, let's do it. So it took a couple of years. However, that takes me to writing the book. So I always felt like I was a little bit behind. Everybody else was writing and I wasn't, but that I was, and then I wasn't. The thing was that it was one of the biggest growths for me. Like, I wrote and I wrote and I wrote about all these horrible things that happened to me when I was a child. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't know if I want people to read all of this, but she said, just write it down. So I wrote everything that I wanted to write about my childhood, about my marriage, about love, about relationships, this, that, and the other. And then she started reading through it with me. And because she's a coach, right?
Yes.
She would go to me, oh, tell me about that. And I start talking about it, and then I'd go, oh my God. And I'd either have a breakthrough, she'll either coach me through it, or I would go, oh my God, I have to go and see. And I have a couple of coaches myself. I do believe that when you're in business, it's a must. Having a coach is a must. Somebody that you can bounce off those moments of when you're unsure. So I've got a couple. So I've got Jane Johnson in America. I've got Teresa here in Melbourne. And Teresa is my inner child psychotherapist. And then Jane does processing. So there's lots of different really deep stuff. So then what I did is I would call one or the other, and I'd process all those situations that I have never ever dealt with them in the past. I understood, I forgave, I accepted, but the depth of it, I didn't. And through this book, I was able to free myself of many, many, many pains that I went through. So as I was growing, so was the book. And out of, I think I had about 15 things that, oh my God, this happened to me and that happened to me. And I would say to Michaela, I go, people are not going to read this because they're going to get sick of reading, oh, she got another beating. Oh, she got told off. She got yelled at. Da, 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 da. And I felt it, but clearly I needed to go through this process. So in the end, I ended up with just 3. And they were like mental, emotional, and physical abuse. So there was an example of each and what I learned from them, which means that whoever's going to read it and whatever they relate to, they're going to go, okay, there's hope. There's hope for us that if we do the work, we can overcome it. And then I went into my relationship with my former husband and the romance and how we grew apart and all of that, and how I went on the journey to become a better me. I wanted to become a better wife because I thought there was something wrong with me, and there was nothing wrong with me. I just didn't know. So there's nothing wrong with anybody out there. Everybody's perfect as they are, but if they want a better quality of life, then they need to do something different. And along the way, I met Mindy, who is one of the other authors, and she became my marketing coach. So she helped me with my business, with creating my own methodology. So now I have my business, I've got my own methodology. She's also a financial coach. So I also hired her as my financial guru. So it's really awesome how we all came together and supported each other one way or another. So now I've got this business and I work with couples, and it's awesome. So I'm very, very happy that I had the opportunity to write this book.
Thank you. That is so amazing. It gives me a bit of hope that it was also healing for you as it was healing for me as I was writing the book. So I'm actually pretty happy to hear that. And it's so amazing that you say you, through this book, through the writing, actually only that it's healing you. So I see in every single story, and also in your story, that the people will, when they read the story, they will heal too. So they will be healing for everybody. And that's so amazing with that book, I think.
It is, because I think I haven't read it all because I'm a little bit busy and it's been crazy since it came out. However, because we all experienced different trials and tribulations, we've all put in a book tips on how we've overcome our challenges, which means that whoever's reading the book, they might have financial challenges, so that they can learn something from, Mindy. They might have health challenges. I don't know. I actually, to be honest, I cannot connect anymore to who did what. My brain is overloaded today. I wrote about relationships, so how to overcome painful childhood and a broken marriage, and especially with the child. And there's a lot of marriages that break down in this day and age. People can't cope with the stresses of life, and they struggle because they worry about the kids, and then they might stay together because they don't want the kids to hurt, but they hurt the kids even more because themselves are very unhappy.
Yes. I read in I haven't read the whole book already, so I'm just working through it because actually I just want to read this one and then I say, oh, maybe this will be interesting, and then I switch over, and so sometimes I'm getting a bit confused. But as I read your chapter, I started reading your chapter. So you wrote about that you're a relationship architect, and you wrote that you actually find a way how you are working with your people. It was just 4 letters, but I didn't wrote them down, so I'm feeling bad right now. But you can help me with that, I think.
It's the ACRA methodology.
Yes, correct. Do you want to tell us a little bit, just a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So ACRA is actually how you say an acronym? Is it an acronym for Annie Kallis Relationship Architect? AKRA, ACRA. And I thought that sounds good. ACRA. Let's go with ACRA methodology. So what I looked at, the end result that I want for people is freedom. And in life, in order to be free, you got to be able to forgive. Mm-hmm. So my message to the world is that forgiveness is freedom. So how do you get to that? Because if I would say, okay, I'm about forgiveness is freedom, people are going to go, whatever, right? So relating to what, right? So then I look back at what were the steps that I took to get to a point of forgiveness. So I was able to forgive my parents after a pretty violent and negative and angry upbringing. And I was at both of their deathbeds. So I sleep well at night because I feel free, and they were free when they passed. I forgave my husband, and I forgave myself first and foremost for not knowing, for my outbursts, for the yelling, for the expectations, for just being as I was. I didn't know any better. And I think that's what happens in a lot of relationships. People don't know. They don't know any better. They only know what they know. So it's imperative that they go out and seek help from professionals. And there has been this stigma about psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors because there's something wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. These people just have skills, and people like us who are coaches. So we help them achieve a particular goal going forward. So we might dig a little bit into their past, but we want to help them go forward because you can't change the past, right? So the methodology was designed around how I became free within myself and content and at peace and joyous and happy and fulfilled. Now, as a human being, I still have my bad days, by all means. And I still get angry, and I still get frustrated, and I still get to a point where I go, I don't know what to do. And that's okay. But then once I have my outburst, and it's only me here, so it's okay. I can crack the shits with myself. But then I start to look at, okay, so let me think, connect to myself. So one of the steps in the methodology is responsibility, taking personal responsibility. So a lot of people deny that something happened, or they lay blame, or they justify. Now, when you deny, you're lying. And that can be quite straightforward, but it's true. You're lying. Don't deny. And don't lay blame. It's somebody else. Well, that you're playing a victim. And don't justify. Don't give me all the reasons why this is not done. Just say you didn't do it. It's as pure, as simple as that. You didn't do it. Okay. So let's figure out why not. Okay. I didn't want to. I couldn't be bothered. I didn't know how. I was scared to. Whatever it is, let's figure it out. And I think in relationships, that's how you start communicating with somebody else. First, take personal responsibility. Have I done everything in my power? Have I, and responsibility is about things that you said and things that you didn't say, and things that you've done and things that you haven't done. And take only your percentage. If you and I are in a relationship, it's a 50-50. Be an intimate relationship, a friendship relationship, a siblings relationship, or a work relationship. It's 50-50. Why should I have 70-30 or you have 80-20? Within the relationship, it's an equal amount. So say in a team, there's 10 people, it's 10%. It's 10% each. But then within that percentage, you are 100% responsible to your 50% or to your 10%. Mm-hmm. And you're 100% responsible to all your actions and your emotions. And that's a big one. And I remember when Jane coached me on that, because I was, I had somebody, I met somebody and then broke my heart. And, but he didn't break my heart. It was just the way it was. He didn't go intentionally and break my heart. It's a saying, broke my heart. And then I was, he abandoned me and he rejected me and this and that. No, he didn't. I did. I abandoned my values. I rejected myself and I settled for things that I shouldn't have. So when I looked at all the steps, I looked at, okay, responsibility. Yeah. Okay. There's something that's not right here. Got on the call to my coach. We talked it out. And then I went on to do the work to look at where has rejection, where has abandonment, where has all those emotions come from originally. And that's when we go back. And once I worked with that and through the book, I went back to those things and I started to remove all of that. And then I wasn't heartbroken anymore. And then I was able to forgive myself for my horrible thoughts, how I was thinking about him, or he's a this and he's a that, and my ex-husband is a this and a that, and my dad and my stepmom, and everybody else, right? And in the end, I thought, take personal responsibility. Okay. And if you're not sure, there is a reason why this is happening. Figure it out. And the book was really, really cathartic. It was great medicine. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's one thing I actually just realized, and that was so wonderful what you said, was if you are in a relationship, you have 50% of the relationship, but you are still 100% responsible for what you are doing. And I think some people, as the most people are like doing, okay, I just have 50% of the relationship, so I'm just with 50% responsible. So it's getting half of half. And that, I think that's a big thing for people, if they're realizing that's like, yes, I'm 50% of the relationship, but still 100% for my own life, for myself and everything I'm doing. So that's a big one, I think. I like that, really. That's amazing.
Thank you. That's a big one. I learned that from Blair, and Blair always says that he learned that from his mentor, and he said it was the best flip chart. So we do a lot of flip charting, right? But it was the best flip chart he's ever learned. And he realized that everything comes back to you. So when I work with the couples, yeah, they want to work on their relationship, but I work on them individually and then bring them together, individually and bring them together. So if you got your values, I have my values, right? Then I figure out what all that means to me. you know, and then let's bring our values together for the common good of our family. And even if you don't have children, if you just have dogs or whatever, but you two are family when you come together. It's a family, right? So then I lost my train of thought there for a moment. So yeah, so you come together and then you go away and then you go, okay, so what are my rules, my code of honor around my values, right? Oh, good. Okay, so then let's come together. I got my values, you got your values, my rules, da da da. What are our values and what are the rules that protect our values? So having a code, and we call it a code of honor, just like, you know, in the Army and the Navy, there's a code of honor that it's a set of rules that binds people together when adversity hits, right? And most people run. When adversity hits, they run. Well, no, that's when you go, okay, what are our boundaries? What are our rules? What are our values? Let's look at that. And that's the interesting thing when I work with people, either when I just coach somebody individually, one of my other programs, one of the Little Voice programs, or if I do my own methodology, is to really connect to yourself and then to everybody else, and to make sure that you don't compromise on your values. And then I go into goals, because everybody has goals, but everybody has sort of goals that somebody else wants for them. So in this case, I work with them to discover their goals, their wants, what they want in their life, and then bring them together. If it's a couple, then bring them together. So you work on your goals individually. Now, what are the commonalities? What are the things that you guys want to work on together? And what are the things that you support each other on? So they become strong and powerful in themselves, and they have their own individuality, and then they can you know, and the relationship becomes better because they don't sit there wanting the other person to make them happy or give them significance. I mean, it's very nice when a guy tells you, hey honey, you're gorgeous. Okay, you know, and I can't wait to come home and see you. Okay, I mean, that is the type of significance, but you want to make sure that you don't sit there waiting for somebody else to make you feel that you are worthy. And that's both for men and women, because a lot of men feel like that. You know, my target market are men, because men are kind of like left to the side, and I have a son, so I want to bring him up in a way he stands in his masculinity, but he also is very present and aware to the needs of whoever his partner going to be one day. Well, I hope. He knows his mom's a coach, so he comes to me all the time. I need coaching, mom. Okay. You need to make me a coffee first. That's your payoff.
That's a nice one. I like that one. So there are so many wonderful things that you all told everybody, and I think after people are listening to this interview, they want to know more about you. Maybe they want to connect to you, and maybe they want to have their first coaching session. You never know. So where do they find you? We will put the link later under the video. So, but just tell everybody, where will they find you?
Okay, so I don't have a website yet. I meet a lot of people through Facebook, which is really interesting, and word of mouth. So, but we can put down my email address. So I can give you my email address. So it's Annie@anniekallis.com.
Okay.
So send me an email, and they can go to my Facebook page or my private Facebook. So, and then they can contact me through Messenger, and I'm happy to have a 15-minute call with them. And if there's more that they want, then we can set up another call. But everybody is very welcome to have that 15 minutes, because in 15 minutes you can pretty much sort of figure out what is it that you need, and then make a longer session to get into it, you know, to see if it's what they need
Yeah.
Do they need relationship coaching, or do they need, financial coaching, or do they need health coaching, or whatever it is? So I'm very happy to speak to anybody. And I have clients around the world, so the time difference doesn't matter. So what's the time there where you are now?
Well, we have 9:30 a.m. in the morning.
So it's 7:30 p.m. here. So I work around the clock. I work according to who I speak with. I've got clients everywhere, London and Italy and Singapore and Brazil. So it's figuring out the time frame, and you just make it work.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank God for technology. I'm not a very techie person, but I can tell you I really enjoyed the benefits of it.
I can totally agree with that. So that's wonderful. So we put all these information under the video later. And now just give maybe 1 or 2 sentences just for everybody to put everything together. So give just.
Can you give me a little bit more?
So just what do you want to say to the women or the men outside? Because you said your target market are actually more men than women. So that's pretty interesting.
I actually, my target market are executives because they work really long hours. But for me, it's a couple. So, there's a lot of women who support these men, and these men work extreme hours to support the family. But let's not forget the women also who support these men on their career path. But at the same time, they need watering, because women are like flowers. You water them and they grow and they bloom. So this is where I work with them to come together and see where is she at in her life at a particular point. Because he's on his career path. She took care of the kids are grown up. What now? So I'm there to help them find out what's the next step. Because the kids are grown up, they don't really need them at the same level as when they were little. Like I know, because my son is 18 years old now, and he's out and about now. He doesn't need mom. I go, when are you going to come see me? Oh, okay, I'll see you. So to me, it's like I don't have an expectation anymore. If I want to talk to him, I call him. How you doing? Hey, mom, I'm good. Blah, blah, blah. Bye. That's it. Just heard his voice, and that's it. So what I did with him is my whole intention was to get him to be interdependent, not dependent. So he's independent, but we really support each other. So I can tell you, he's 18 and he coaches me sometimes. And I sit there and I go, how do you know that? He goes, oh, I have a really good coach. Right? So what I would like to say to people is that there's no shame in reaching out for help. None whatsoever. There are people who have gone through what you've gone through, who are willing to be there to support you with no judgment, in being completely neutral, using all the skills that they learned. Like I teach from my own personal experience. I don't teach a theory. That's not in my own integrity, because I don't have the proof. Whereas I am the proof, and I know what it feels like. I know what it's like. I know of people that have gone through things. So I teach from that perspective. I've lost 20 kilos or 44 pounds, whatever that is, wherever you are in the world. I've gone from being really sad and down and out to somebody who's happy. So whatever your needs, whatever they are, and if you don't know, you just know that you're in pain and hurting and knots in the stomach, and you feel like this is just not, reach out. Just simply reach out. That's the first step, the absolutely first step. The rest will come. To be able to just speak to somebody. So there is, how many of us? There's 8 of us in this book. There's 8 people who are ready to help, and I can say, you know, is there a guarantee? Well, the guarantee is based on the work that you do. You know, if somebody says, well, the program didn't work for me, well, you didn't do the work. So if you don't do the work, it's not going to work. But if you do the work, it definitely will. And the coach is there, like I'm there to hold you up. When things don't work, I'm there to hold you up and say, you're going to be fine. Tell me about it. And as soon as you start talking about, and you would know, right? We both have gone through this, right?
Yeah.
And we had people holding us up and giving us a hug, or I can't give a hug of, I usually hug the computer. But there's ways. So I just say, have the courage to reach out. That's the first step. People are afraid of what? The unknown. So you don't know it, so don't be afraid of it now. You know, you're afraid of going and jumping out of a plane. And then when you're on the plane and ready to jump, you're okay. Go figure. Right? It's not as bad as we thought it's gonna be. Right? So, and I'm sure everybody has many, many stories like that, that they were terrified of something, then they did it and they went, oh, is that all? So I just say, make the first step and reach out, and the rest will come. Most definitely. It's the moment of decision is the moment when the universe or God or the source or whatever you believe in is going to send you the right teachers, the right support group, the right people, and the right means. Most definitely.
Wonderful. That is a wonderful conclusion of all what you said today. And I think making the first step is a wonderful thing to do, and it will help everyone. Just the first tiny little step will help. So thank you for being with me on this interview. And well, I'm looking forward for the next, because I will have interviews with every single woman out of this book. And I was glad that you jumped on that call in just 60 minutes later. I just asked for it 60 minutes later, and you said, yes, I have time. I'm pretty glad of that. So yeah, thank you to everybody who was listening. And we put all the information under this video. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you. I want to ask you, who's going to interview you?
I don't know. I will go last. I will now interview the others first. I will go there. I had an interview yesterday in German. That was nice. But first, I will now interview everybody else. But because I think someone has to do it, and I just took the first step.
And there's a leader over there. I didn't even think about it. No, actually, sorry. I thought about it, and then it came, and then it went. So, well, if you would like somebody to interview you, I'm happy to interview you, unless you have more with somebody else, so that's fine. So just let me know. Keep in touch with me. So thank you very much for having me, and everybody, thank you for listening. And yeah, have an awesome weekend.
Yeah, have an awesome weekend. Bye.